Well, hello, Herkimer County. We're back at it again. This is Michele Hummel with the Herkimer County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with Dave Warner, our producer.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. And before we begin,
oh my God,
I want to mention that I stopped over at White Rose Bakery, who is a chamber member, and they have got the best baked goods in town. I actually asked her, what's your best seller? And she said, I don't know, because everything sells. So
really?
Yeah, so I gave you a little sample. I just wanted to leave that with you. I need to stay away from those, but but they looked scrumptious.
Oh, okay.
They did. And White Rose is also open at 7 in the morning. They close somewhere around 4 o'clock unless they sell out of things, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And they're closed on Monday. So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to one of our chamber members.
They are always busy. You can go by there anytime, and there are cars pulling in there and people scurrying in. Even late in the day.
Absolutely.
What's left?
I stopped before I came here, and it's a little later in the day, so I was surprised, but it was beautiful. It was great.
Awesome.
So that said, I am here with John Piseck of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency, the IDA, and I want to talk about several projects that are going on. One thing that is coming to my mind, because I've been getting lot of questions, is about new housing for these folks that are moving in from out of area and they need a place to stay. They don't always know where the best neighborhood is or where they feel like settling down. So they want something that they could stay at for maybe a year or two before they decide to build, or, decide, Deerfield's the place we want to be, or Mohawk, New York, whatever the case is. So John, welcome. And do you want to open up a little bit and tell us about yourself?
Sure. My name is John Piseck. As you mentioned, I'm the executive. Well, no, I just changed titles.
That's right.
It's so new, I
to be
forget.
careful.
It's so new, I forget constantly.
Oh,
I feel like Woody on Cheers that got that promotion with no wage increase. Remember that episode? They all kept coming out with a better title. But no, I am now the CEO of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency. I've been doing it now almost 4 years. We've had some great successes, but it's all built upon the area, the region, the county. We get such support from the county legislators, the individuals with each town and village that we do development in. So we think that's what's really made a success, is working all together. In the county, we have 30 municipalities. I've been to everyone several times, some more than others because of the projects we're working on. And I've found if you keep everybody up to date on what's going on, it's a lot easier to push your projects through.
Sure, and that's exactly what we're here for. So I know a lot of people have heard the buzz about certain things. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the business parks and the things that are going up there. It's amazing. You took, farmland and you've turned it into prosperous growth, and there's so many jobs coming in. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. One of the things, though, that everyone should know is that our county is different than most counties. The legislature votes to supply me with the money to buy the property. We pay that back through selling it to the individuals. Then they also support us with funding for the infrastructure, which we pay back through the pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes. In most cases, the property that we are involved with has either had no taxes on it to begin with, or farmland, which is a reduced tax rate. So when it's all said and done, the property's up, the project's up and running. After a certain period of time, we're getting full assessed value on some of these larger facilities. And that's really increasing the tax base for the towns, the villages, and the county. So, and that's our goal too, is to help support where we can. I know we've received a lot of money, and a lot of communities have, from the federal government because of what's been going on with COVID. But we just said that we have to keep moving on. We never closed during COVID. I worked every day. And it worked out well for everyone, and we stayed in touch with our developers. You mentioned too about housing earlier. There is a need for housing, and we have done studies. We did a study up in the town of Webb. In the town of Webb, you have young teachers, young policemen, restaurant managers. They can't drive back and forth an hour every day for how long. They get wears on them, and they're losing good people because of that. So we did a study in conjunction with the town. We're excited about that. We're seeing how it's going right now. They're looking at different thoughts and processes and different properties. We're working on some property in the town of Frankfort. We purchased. We're hoping to have some very nice residential properties there too, workforce housing. And the same way in the village of Frankfort, there's some property there that we're helping out the village with doing some surveying on. There's never never been anything on it before. It's right in the village. It looks very attractive for houses, nice single family houses that can attract those workforce that you mentioned earlier. We are seeing a lot of people come from here. And in the past, you look at, say, for an example, Wolfspeed that has moved into the area. Those people, some of them might like the smaller rural areas instead of living in a loft downtown. And we also have some brownfields like the Dufold building that we're talking with developers about, multi-use, retail on the first floor, maybe microbreweries, second, third floor, maybe some upper scale type nice apartments. And we need that in this area.
We do.
We see that all around.
I actually sat with someone at our annual dinner just a couple of weeks ago, and it was a couple, a very nice couple that was employed with Fountainhead Group, and they just came in from another area, and they're asking all the questions. Where do I get my hair done? Where should I go here? What's the nightlife like? So these are all questions that I'm sure are happening everywhere and to everybody. So I'm glad to see you're working on that. Now in Frankfurt, do you already have developers in mind, or is this you're getting some land ready and then you're going to solicit developers?
The one in the village, we've done the studies to get it ready, the SHPO, which is involved with the historic preservation to make sure there was no Indian trading places on there and things. And then we also did some environmental studies too. That's the old canal where it was. So that was filled in. So we wanted to make sure we weren't going to run into any issues there as well. But the tax base alone will be increased there. And it's walkable to school.
Walkable.
Which is
key.
huge. There's Melrose there in town. So you have a grocery store, and things are picking up. There's a convenience store not far away, a bank.
Dollar General's going in too, right?
Well,
in Frankfurt?
Dollar General's going down a little bit, but in the village, they have a dollar one store or something that just opened up. And you have some of those. They have a couple restaurants. They need a few more because we are seeing some very big growth in Frankfurt and both the village and the town. And the major reason is because both of them want to work and make things happen in their communities. With Mayor Adams and Supervisor Asno, those and their boards have been fantastic. A lot of times it takes a long time to get these things through, but if you follow it properly, you can make it happen a little faster. And that's what they've been doing. What do you need from us? How do you want us to come talk to them? I said, of course. Can we sit in the meetings? What do you mean? I want you in the meetings.
Right.
We need to make sure that happens right.
Just having that mentality of, hey, let's say yes. Get all your facts, of course, but don't go in thinking closed-minded. No, we don't want to change. You're always going to bump into that group that they just don't want to see any change. So it's really refreshing to hear that you have an administration that's willing to accept change.
And we understand in certain towns, they don't want certain types of development. We look at Litchfield, big farm town community. They love it that way. We had meetings there, John, we don't want a big warehouse. No, that's fine. We want some additional housing. We like our farms. That's cool too. We need that as well. Same way like in Ohio and, some of the other ones. And some of the communities are so small, they don't really have an opportunity or the infrastructure for any kind of growth like this. And that's one of the keys is infrastructure.
Have you had any real estate agents on board with these discussions?
No, not really. Yeah. They, to be honest with you, in most cases, I'm dealing with the owner of the company and a lot of the people who are in the development with the developer. So those are handled by some other people that would come into the area. In a lot of cases, these companies, a prime example was Tractor Supply. They had people throughout this whole community going to diners, restaurants, walking around, going to Walmart, and just talking to people. And look at that structure there. It's 930,000 square feet. They have over 740 employees. They promised us 335. I mean, that was truly the catalyst that brought everything together. And that's why we keep expanding the way we are. One of the reasons, I believe.
Great. So what other projects do we not know about? Well, that you can legally share with us.
I mean, we continue to do a lot in our brownfields, and we had some news yesterday about another grant that there's a very good possibility where we're going to receive. So that's huge for us. People don't think about the brownfields like the Dufold building in Ilion or Bill's School in Herkimer or the old Ames True Temper or Union Tool site in Frankfurt. But we work on a lot of those. Right now we're working on the Chips gas station that's between Ilion and Frankfurt to clear that up. We've been talking with the town about, if we clean it up, would you take it over and maybe make it a car stop for the bike path? So we're always thinking of different ways. Not every property is going to be reused the way we want it to. And I'm not a structural engineer. So when I first started this, I wanted to tear down Dufold. And someone looked at me, and I won't swear, but they said, "You're not an effing structural engineer. Let's get somebody in here first." And they did, and it worked out great, because now look, we're getting so much EPA presence from that. We've had the regional directors here. We have a lot of people in front of that. I presented out it in LA. We're always talking about our processes here. And we have a food processing study that we're finishing up, and we're going to have a big meeting at the college on, I think it's June 2nd at 6:00 in the largest auditorium, because we're anticipating a lot of people, because we know what's needed. We won a grant for $50,000. We hired a firm from New York City was highly recommended, and they came in and they talked to everybody from Chobani and Hood and all of these places to say, what do we need here, and where our location is, the amount of water we have, the infrastructure in place. We're prime for businesses like that. And we need to continue to do that. COVID changed us all. There's no planet B. This is our only planet. We have to do things to know where they're coming from, to make it local and continue to grow our area.
Come on, you're not going to Mars with Elon? There's other planets available,
Well, there is a
now there's a floating one. They're actually going to have office space in outer space, I saw this morning.
Bigelow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bigelow Aerospace.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You do know I did build the scoop that's on Mars.
Really?
Yeah. The company I worked for before this, CTM in Frankfurt, we built the scoop on Mars.
Also a chamber member.
Yeah. Boom. We worked IDA.
I can do that. Member. You want a rim shot? I can give you one of those.
But we built the scoop. I was actually at a convention, met somebody, and we talked and we built it. And we did a lot of parts for different rovers on Mars and space, and it's quite unique. My uncle actually was with Northrop Grumman way back in the day, and he has product on the moon, and we have product on Mars. And we did a lot of different things there: artificial heart, lung parts, gun parts.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, in Frankfurt. Yeah, but you got to travel and you have to get out there. And we do a lot of that now still with the IDA, because I would never, like Fountainhead came to us. I would never go to them. I don't believe in poaching. That's your business in your county, anywhere in New York State. I'm never going to go knock on a door and say, no, you should move to Herkimer County. If they come to me, that's a different story. But when we go to some of these trade shows, like I go to a food processing show in Atlanta, you betcha I'm going to grab them and drag them here, and let them see what we have to offer. When I'm in another show, we've had some big opportunities because of that. We have to continue that as well.
You're certainly doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
No question. And John works, his office is right next door to the chamber office. So I can tell you, I see them walking out with boots in hand on a beautiful day. So I know he's going to a field somewhere.
or he's going fishing.
Yeah.
And he's got you totally
maybe
fooled.
that is it.
I actually was at a field 2 days ago, got my first tick ever. But I found I didn't even know what the heck it was. I never got one before. But it's okay, because, we're moving ahead with things. Things are truly progressing. I mean, when we bought that 188 acres in Schuyler, I was nervous, and we only have about 36 acres left. I mean, it just moves so fast, and people want to make things happen. And we're in a great part in central New York. We're right off the thruway. There's just a lot of things going on. When Tractor opened, we went to Bernie Bus, asked them to move the bus over that way, so that would help to that park too. They were eager to help us there. We're doing everything we can to make it better for the workforce and to keep everybody here.
Is there a bus route that goes towards to the Frankfurt?
Frankfurt, yes. Schuyler,
okay.
no.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Schuyler, no. We had some conversations, and we're going to continue those to try to get something from Utica to Schuyler. And if you tried to take the bus from Frankfurt and then go back to Schuyler and over, I think that would disrupt the route for everybody, and I think that would work as well. And we're not in it for that. We want, people need public transportation too. So, and with Amazon coming in, we're anticipating a lot more Uber drivers and other things too. So that'll help us overall.
Good. And a lot of jobs. Can you speak to how many jobs, so let's say, just on average in the last 4 years, how many jobs do you think you've brought to Herkimer County?
Well over 2,000.
That's wonderful. And I think that everybody needs to hear that 2,000 jobs in Herkimer County because of our Herkimer County IDA. They're doing a fabulous job.
And we can't do everything. We don't do retail. In certain cases we can, like when Chevy was expanding up there in Herkimer. Well, they were our only new car dealership, so we were able to help with that. Adirondack Food and Fuel, we were able to help with that because of the location, different things. But when somebody comes into, say, the village of Herkimer and wants to open up a retail store like Harbor Freight, we can't help with that. That's not part of what we're supposed to do. We can't give those incentives there.
Well, that's good to know for our public as well, because we get calls at the chamber, and I know other people, you have a cousin from out of town, you get talking at Thanksgiving, and, who do they turn to find out, hey, we've got a retail space, who should I call? I'll be honest, we send a lot of calls to you. I know that you'll know where to send them, but if they're looking for land or whatever the case is, we send them to the IDA. So do you have any recommendations or?
Well, we're very happy about that. But the retailers, we do have some smaller grant things we can help with, but not the pilot. So if somebody's opening up, we've helped many different places, PK's, Jones Family Farm, a lot of those where we've given a different grant. And now we just applied and we received a letter that it looks like we won another $500,000 to do for a grant program through the CARES Act to help people get through that process. There's paperwork involved, but we're very discreet about that. You'll never find out. And we know people are struggling and we want to help them, but $500,000 to our county, and we have to spend it in a year. We're going to make that work.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big money.
That's grant money.
That's a
too.
big deal. Yeah. Boy, that's nice.
That's fantastic.
Probably over the past 2-3 days, I've heard about almost almost $4 million we're going to receive in grants soon. So there's a lot of projects going on, and we're bringing water and sewer to the Mannheim Park, and that water tower that we put in there is going to help the entire community. So we don't mind doing projects. We're working on the water transmission line from Schuyler to Herkimer. We took that project over because there's so many municipalities, it's hard for them to join forces that way. But by us doing it, we were able to go after additional grants and work with everybody, so everybody gets really good water. That's going to service over 22,000 of our residents. 1,500 businesses, our college, a couple assisted living facilities. It's the perfect fit.
Fantastic. You know what? That said, let's take a little break. We've got a break to commercial, and we will be right back with more information from John Piseck.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
Thank you. We're back with John Piseck from the Herkimer County IDA. So, John, I want to take it back to that Thanksgiving dinner table. So we really don't know. I can tell you I don't know exactly what you could do for some smaller business, that whether they're opening up or they want to expand. Is that something the IDA can help with, or is there someplace else we should be sending them?
Well, we do have some money available for smaller businesses. About 10 years ago, when I was on the board, we went to Mark Butler and he got us $25,000, and then Senator Seward got us an additional $50,000. We call it our 222 program. It's a $2,000 loan, a $2,000 grant, and then they have to invest at least $2,000 of their own money into the program. The loan you can pay back the next day, so that with no penalty whatsoever. But it's up to two, so you could do 111, you could do 800. So we would work with you on that. One of the caveats to that is that you have to kind of spend that money first. But we'll work with you on that as well. So we're never going to block out anybody. We want to talk to people about certain situations, but we do have a fiduciary responsibility to these things too, and they have to be approved by Empire State Development. So And you have to be in business a year. And sometimes, people come and they change things or change their business or, different things that we have to look at. And if we have to dot all the I's and cross the T's, we cannot put in jeopardy any of that money we have. We don't want to lose that. And then, as I mentioned, we have another grant coming out under the CARES program that's about $500,000, and we've increased that to allow more employees. The past one we just finished for $200,000. That was up to 5 employees and owner operated. This one's going to be up to, I think, 20 or 25, because we want to help more individuals out. And there's some equipment that some of these people could get because of COVID. They lost markets, they lost different businesses. And I think we can help them out with that as well. And a lot of this will be tied to retention, not necessarily additional jobs, because we all know how difficult it is to do that. But we really think that we're in a good spot to help out those small businesses.
So some of the criteria, like you said, you need to be in business for a year. So let's say I open up a business and I'm ABC company and I realize that name doesn't even explain what I do, for example. So I'm going to change it to, XYZ. And so does my year start ticking then when I change the name, or will you go back?
So did you change your LLC? Did you change your
I
doing
suppose you would have to.
businesses?
Mhm.
So if you
Okay. So that's all brand new. So the clock starts ticking.
Yeah.
I think that might be a misconception out there.
Yeah.
So thank you for clarifying that. Are there any other criterias we should know?
Well, it'll be all in an application that we have. There's nothing crazy in there, like we said. And we know sometimes we're the choice of last result for some of these things. But we want to turn that money around. For example, with the Butler Seward money, we've probably put $800,000 back into the community from that. It just keeps rotating through. We haven't seen money from them in a long time, but they pay it back and we send it out again. So some of the projects we give this to might be a $60,000 project, but we're still giving them $4,000 more, and that helps them out as well.
Every little bit.
It does. It really does. So, and we're happy to do that too. That's what we're supposed to do. It's a little different out of the norm of an IDA, but we're the only economic development arm we have in the county, and we need to keep people moving here too as well. We get a lot of comments on how easy we are to work with business development and different companies, and it's because we want to see people succeed, and that's our board pushes that, our county pushes that as well. And when we have them in, and then when we work with the individual communities, it makes it a lot easier.
Sure. I will give you more kudos. When we did the groundbreaking for Fountainhead Group, they got up and they praised the Herkimer County IGA. They said, thank goodness for John Piseck. He was so easy to work with. He was really anticipating every move that we had to make. So,
it comes with working with a lot of the other players, the Mohawk Valley Water Authority, the individual communities, National Grid. You just have to talk to them and let them see what's coming in. I think back in the day, I went to many different kinds of sales training, and one of them was IBM, and they would say, unload the boat. Bring as many people on the call that you could, because there's somebody in there that's going to have that answer to that question or be able to elaborate to make it even a better question. And so I always thought that way. Who can I bring into this meeting with us? And sometimes just sit there is fine too. We don't always have to answer a question right there. And a lot of times silence is good.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you been able to, if you were giving the money out from those 2 small funds that you initially got, have you been able to replenish that?
Just from them coming back in with either the interest from it, paying back their loan. And we've not had one default.
Wow.
I mean, and if people are struggling, you got to talk to us. And we tell them that too. Please don't struggle. Please don't sweat it. Let's talk about it. Most of the people now are putting it through their check. It's automatically deducted. I mean, the payments are less than $200 a month for 2 years. I mean, it's very reasonable, but still a small business struggling, and we've helped many of them. There's a dog groomer in Herkimer we helped. I mean, it's just cool thing, people that you don't think about, but they'll come in and want to talk to you. We're happy to talk to anybody. And, we work closely with the Small Business Development Center that'll work on their business plans and different things too. And soon again, we tried to do a program called Pitch Herkimer County during COVID. Didn't quite take off, but M&T gave us $6,000, and we have some other sponsors. We're going to kick that off again soon.
Nice.
So if somebody has an existing business, but you have a new product, or if you're just coming up with a product idea, we have some machinists, we have some 3D printer people, we have some attorneys, the small business. We have a lot of people that'll help get that going.
Good.
So
we're maybe we could piggyback off of it. This is how great ideas are made, but we're thinking of doing a similar thing, $5,000 grant to, this would have to be a chamber member awardee that it would go directly to their small business, whatever campaign they're looking to accomplish. So it'll be similarly structured in terms of you have to have your business plan. We have to have a group together to vote, that kind of thing. So,
well, the nice thing about Herkimer County, though, is when you apply, we're going to help you write that business plan for the judges. So we have individuals that are judges that are part of the industry. So it makes it nice. Then they can see that plan, and the people who've been involved can say, well, that's a great idea. Or if you twist this to it, or if you make it black instead of green, or, all different types of things. Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many big ones done around. I was actually a judge a few times for the state one through SUNY Poly, and it was great to see some of the ideas the kids had, or the people, I shouldn't say just kids.
To us.
They were kids to me. So
they're all kids to us.
They keep getting younger. I don't know what happens.
We had thought about doing like a Shark Tank competition here for, like maybe, and then have a panel of judges and pick the best business plan kind of thing. And with a couple of the people that you've talked to this week, they would have been competitors in that, but we pared it down first time around. Yeah,
that's why the pitch Herkimer County, we thought it was good. We thought it would be something. And during COVID, it was difficult getting the message out there, but we're going to start that up again soon. I think people still have, I thought people being home during COVID would come up with some great ideas how to switch the TV without being able to get to the remote and things like that.
That used to be the job of the child.
Yeah.
It's called voice recognition.
Yeah, well, now that's true, but you know what I mean? Just some different things. And you never know. You really don't. And we're happy to support those type of things too. It's really excited about what we're going on with now. We have a great staff at the IDA, great board members too, just a whole great support team. We attend a lot of things around the state, so they know about us. They keep in touch, and when we have some opportunities, this past week or 2 weeks ago, we met with the head of Assembly and Senate for agricultural market. So we were very excited about that because we have some projects, and especially after our food processing study, we want them to see that.
When do you think that study will be completed?
Well, we're going to have it for June 2nd at that meeting.
Okay, so you'll be able to present the results.
Oh yeah, we're going to present the results in the study, and we reached out to everybody, and also like the FFAs and the 4-H's. We want to know what's keeping these kids here. Why you have a great family farm, and most of these kids go to Cornell because they want to be something with it, and then they take off. Some come back. I mean, the Cluses, look at them. Their son went to school there, came back, opened up a water buffalo farm, the only one in the state. I mean, these are some neat things that we need to get out there and promote. And that buffalo, I never say it right. I'm not Italian or Italian.
It's the Beardsley Water Buffalo Farm, right?
Yeah. And it's very cool mozzarella, and it's highly demanded, and so they ship that to some place to be processed and sold. But the Indian population, not the Native American, but the Indian population will pay up to $65, $70 a gallon for that milk. And then we also learned about aseptic milk. Never knew what that was. That has a long shelf life. It's the same milk. It's just processed and stored differently. So for like the city and other areas, you can give somebody a box of this milk and it could sit there for a month. You open it up, it's fresh as anything.
Interesting.
You freeze it. No, it's true. I don't drink it, but I mean, I would if that's what you had. And it makes it simpler for a lot of these people. And there's a huge market for it. Wow. So how do we get more involved in that market? We have water, we have sewer, we're a great location, we have farmers. So how do we go attract somebody to do that? That's what I do. I'll start calling and talking to people and saying, how can we expand these businesses? What can we do here to make that happen?
Yeah, It's amazing. I often say, when people ask the chamber what we do, and it all comes down to you get out of it what you put in. So if you have an idea, chances are we can make it happen. And I'm hearing it sounds like you feel very similar.
Oh, definitely. The studies, when I first started, I'm thinking studies. Oh, here we go again. What the hell's a study? But when you hire the right firm and you're involved from day one, it makes a true difference on things. Housing studies are phenomenal, in my opinion. Just seeing how you get the demographics from other parts of the country, how you try to make it similar. Think about this. You're Wolf Speed and you've lived in Denver and worked your whole life. It's easily an hour commute you're going to have, if not more than that. So now they can move in Old Forge. They don't mind that hour commute up and back. And they're going to a place where they can ski, hike, and do all of this. And when they get home from work, come on, that's a beautiful thing for them.
Sure. Well, it sounds like there's an awful lot going on here. And I think that we've only scratched the surface on what's going on inside John's mind.
Well, some of that, as we heard before the show, we might not want to get into.
Right. I'm always a firm believer of it. And I actually heard it on a meeting today. if there's no seat at the table for you, pull up a chair. And that's how you get things done.
Sure.
And I think I would encourage all of our listeners, anybody who's in business, anybody who wants to know more information, pull your chair up to the table and ask the questions. And the Herkimer County IDA is a great resource for you. So is the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Well, great. I appreciate the time today. I really
thank
do.
you.
It's important that we get the word out there. It's important people know. Our door is, locked, but it's always open.
If there's a sign.
Our door's
locked.
So don't come by and see us.
Well, we still want to keep that little restraint about the COVID and just to talk to somebody first. And, you do get upset people sometimes too, and we're not in the most secure area. So it's better that we are. But we see things to grow, and we want to help people, and they can call. And it's funny how different legislators or board members will say, "Hey, can you talk to this guy?" Sure, have him give us a call, and we never hear from them,
or you do too much.
Yeah, well, you got to try. If we have a source to do it, we're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't, we work closely with Mohawk Valley Edge. Sometimes they have some lease programs that we don't, and they cover Herkimer County for a lot of cases too. There's another grant we just won that's huge with them that'll be coming out soon too. And we like to partner with them. They're an excellent partner. And just for, we're not the company's going to decide where they want to be. So I could show them a spot, and so could Oneida County. And we both sit there and look at, this is what we offer, this is that. And we're not offering anything out of our norm. I'm not trying to steal them from you. Here's our norm. In the Schuyler Business Park, everybody paid $15,000 an acre. And I was asked by all of them many times, what's my real price? $15,000 an acre. I have responsibility to pay back the county. I have responsibility to taxpayers as well. So $15,000, and that's what we did it at. And people had other opportunities to look elsewhere, but it's the right place for them to be.
Full transparency.
Yeah, you have to be. And you go to our website, you're going to find everything. We're a budget. Now it just flew out of my mind, but we're not.
That's what happens when you get promoted to CEO. Stuff like that just disappears.
It flows. It just flows out of my mind. But we're a public benefits corporation that, we have to show these things on our website. Where the ABO, the Authority's Budget Office, monitors what we do. This past year, we had 3 different audits, which Michelle, they were in the conference room many times.
Were.
3 different audits. They won't talk to each other. They wouldn't stop. We had to do all 3 of them. But we learned a lot. And that's what happens, but we told them too, they'd come in some days. Can we see you now? No, you can't. We have projects going on. We have over 80 projects in our office, from small $2,000 ones to 40, 50, $60 million projects.
And how many people in your office?
There's 4 of us now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We have a new hire in Ryan. He's handling our marketing. Stacy Holleran, that's been there since before me. Victoria Adams, that does a lot of the grants and a lot of administration things. So, but I don't want a kingdom. I don't want 20 people. I don't think we're the county for that. I think we're at a good spot right now. I mean, with some new other things coming in place, maybe we'll use some additional consultants, but I think we can still move forward with it and make it all work. I don't work 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. So I think,
it's odd hours.
It's
whenever you need to.
Sundays, I get text Sunday nights. What are you doing tomorrow morning? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And you say,
now I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I can say that, before John came on board, there was only 2 people in the IDA. Now you have a need for 4, and that's still a small group, but you are all tight knit and work very well together. Extremely helpful group.
Thank you. It is. And we all, stick up for each other, work for each other. Can you cover this for me? I kind of go there, and it works out well for us. So,
yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic neighbors too. So anyway, that said, I want to thank you so much for joining us, John. I think we'll most definitely have you on again and again after that, because things are always going to proceed. Maybe we have you on quarterly just so you can give us an update perhaps.
Sure, that's fine.
So I want to thank everyone for listening. And if anybody out there has a topic they want to go over, please call the Chamber of Commerce at 315-866-7820, and we will do our best to accommodate it. Thanks so much and have a great day.